If I had to make $1 million from zero, here's exactly what I do step by step. Now, most people think to make $1 million requires a genius invention, a massive team, or years of hustling. So they spend months building courses or products that nobody buys, or starting agencies that bleed customers every single month. But what's really interesting, in 99% of the failed stories I hear about, truthfully, the entrepreneur would have been successful if they just did things in the right order and stuck with it for longer. And I'm gonna break it down today in this video. By the way, I am not a guru. My name's Sabrina Ramonov. My background's in computer science and physics. I previously built and sold an AI company for millions of dollars, and now I teach AI 100% for free to millions of people. And today I'm gonna break down exactly what I would do if I had to make $1 million from zero. I'm gonna show you the correct order, step by step. Now, I'm not saying what I'm gonna show you today is the fastest option, but I know with 100% certainty that it will work without luck, without a huge monetary upfront investment, and without business or technical background. This will work for anyone if you follow this path and do it, commit to it for a long enough time horizon. And using this exact framework, I recently saw one entrepreneur go from zero to $50,000 per month in 6 months. And he didn't build a complex app or software product. He just built a watering hole for people who wanted to master one specific skill. Step number one we're going to talk about is to lock in. And the important thing here is to lock into only one thing. For sure, near 100% guaranteed you're going to fail if you try to do 6 different things at the same time. Where there's a lot of excitement in the market and there's a lot of money flowing into something already, that makes your life a lot easier because those dollars are going into educating your potential customers and prospects so that you don't have to do all that work educating them. So we're going to lock into this one space, AI, because the market is massive, and in terms of market timing, everybody wants to learn about it right now. But AI itself is a really, really huge space. Like, how do you know even where to start within the realm of AI? First thing you're going to do here is play and explore a lot of different areas in AI. Okay, so I'm going to list out a few. One of them is creativity, using AI to generate images and videos that are realistic, that are cinematic, that just look really, really, really cool and are pushing the boundaries of human creativity. Another area is automation. For example, you can build workflows in N8N and Make.com to automate tedious processes, tedious work, in order to help businesses free up their time. Third area I talked about last week in my video is vibe coding. This is AI building apps for you. So building websites, building landing pages, interactive lead magnets. If you're watching this video from a technical background, you might also consider AI assisted coding. So instead of AI coding near 100% of your product, how would you use AI as a senior developer working on an existing code base? That is a whole other area to explore. Maybe your background is design. How can AI tools help you with prototyping interactive mockups? How can you use AI to iterate through a lot of UI, UX decisions and figure out what to do next? Along the same veins as creativity, you have AI music. How do you use tools like Suno and Udio to generate AI music? How do you combine AI-generated music with your human expertise as a musician? How do you blend those two worlds and create something that people really want to listen to? Another area for AI is consulting, because so many people want to learn how to use AI specifically within their companies to improve productivity, upskill their employees. There's a lot of demand for AI consultants who can come in, figure out where the gaps are, where AI should be applied, what kinds of training your folks need to upskill them to the next level in terms of AI usage and adoption. Just choosing one that you genuinely think is cool. So let's say you're choosing like vibe coding as just as an example. And then what I want you to do is stick to it for 1 year straight. Like, no joke, you cannot switch. This is probably the hardest part of the entire playbook framework that I'm going to lay out today. It is so tempting to switch. Like, maybe you're struggling with this, you're having a bad week or a bad couple of weeks, and you see this person over here making a lot of money doing AI automations. The trap that people fall into again and again is chasing the next shiny object when you truly haven't given yourself enough time runway to see this through and be successful. So stop chasing the next shiny object. All you have to do is choose one that you're genuinely interested in, that you'd be excited to learn about, because the next thing you're going to do is spend the next 3 months not monetizing it, just literally learning, like consuming tutorials, figuring out what people are using, playing with AI tools in that space as much as possible, and learning everything that you possibly can. Now, you may be wondering, like, what else are you going to do in that 3 months? You might get discouraged. You're going to see shiny objects. You're going to see people on Instagram printing money, and you're going to be like, wait, why am I just learning? Why am I not printing money yet? Okay, so during that 3-month period while you're learning, you are going to start building your brand. All you have to do really is post content on social media. If you're watching this video, you already consume social media. Most everyone on the planet is on some form of social media, so you're familiar with it as a consumer. But when you build brand, you're going to be creating your own content. And you might be wondering, well, what am I supposed to say? Like, I'm not an expert yet. I haven't mastered the thing. Like, I'm not even 3 months into learning whatever you chose. Let's say it's vibe coding. You're only 2 weeks into vibe coding. You feel imposter syndrome. You feel insecure. Who are you to teach other people about anything related to vibe coding? And by the way, those are all legitimate concerns. However, you can still build a brand in the process of learning. So I call this learn in public. And it's a powerful concept. So instead of waiting until you've mastered the skill at the end of 3 months, all you're going to do is post content saying exactly your situation. Hey, I'm learning this new AI tool for vibe coding. You're going to learn something. Let's say you follow a YouTube tutorial, or you read some documentation, or you try some prompts out, and then you're going to reflect on what you learned in the process. Like, what worked well, what didn't work well, what was really confusing for you. And this is your content. And the beauty here is you don't have to lie. You can just be transparent. You can just say, here's exactly where I am. This is why I'm doing this. Here's what I'm trying. Here are like some of the resources I used. And here's what worked well for me. Here's what didn't work well. Here's what was super confusing. So just make content while you're in the learning journey. Because a lot of people will like wait until they feel like they're absolutely ready. Problem with this is it leads to all kinds of excuses. So if you wait until you're ready, honestly, you're giving yourself an excuse to never get started. And that's probably one of the biggest issues with building a personal brand. People psychologically, mentally make all of these excuses as to why they shouldn't do it yet or shouldn't post yet. It's actually all mental in your head because not being seen by anyone and flopped. But a lot of that hesitation comes from like fear of rejection and fear of your content just not doing well. So don't let that be an excuse. So I found learning in public a great way to make sure that you're not using these things as an excuse and that you are diving into things all the time, learning them, and then sharing what you learn in public. I am definitely not the only person who says this, but volume is incredibly underrated when you're just starting out, especially in the content creation game, the game of building a personal brand. A lot of people are concerned if I post too much, then I'm going to like overwhelm my audience over. But the reality is most of your posts, especially in the beginning, will completely fail and flop, and that's normal. And what that means is that literally 0 people are watching your content anyway. But the reason volume is so powerful is because it gives you this incredibly fast feedback loop. So you make a post and then you see how it did. If it did well, you double down on that format. If it didn't do well, you experiment with another format. But the thing about volume is you can do this cycle many times a day. So if you only post once a day, then you're only getting 1 data point per day. But if you post 5 times a day, then you get 5 data points per day. And by the way, they don't necessarily even have to be different posts. Like if you take your TikTok and just post it over here on Instagram and post it over here on YouTube, now you, instead of just 1 post, now you have 3. So that's great. And maybe you'll post it on LinkedIn as well, or Threads, or any of these other platforms. And that's how you get 4 posts a day. So to recap, number 1, lock into a specific subset of AI. You're going to commit to 1 1 year focused on that and nothing else. You're going to spend the first 3 months learning as much as you can in that space, consuming content, following tutorials, and in the process, you're going to build your brand by posting 5 times a day and learning in public. The comment I made at the beginning, where I see so many people building courses and products and they launch them and then they're surprised that they fail. What's crazy is that those same people would probably have been successful if they just did number 2 first and spent as much effort developing number 2 as they did developing their product. And that's what I mean about doing things in the right order. The reason why I'm 100% confident in this path, when you invest first in building a brand, you have so many more opportunities for monetization that open up. So step 1, lock in. Step 2, post content while you're learning about the space you committed to. And step 3 is actually to launch your offer. And we're going to talk about the different offers you could do here, and I will explain why I chose this one in particular. So even though I personally do not monetize my AI education, I don't sell courses, I don't sell information products, I don't sell a community or anything like that, it's clear to me that an information product is the fastest way to ramp up to $1 million, especially if you have nothing pre-existing. You don't have any existing distribution, you don't have technical skills, you've never built a business before. Pretty much anyone can get started within the information economy. Basically, you take the time to acquire a useful skill. And all you're doing here is packaging up the skill in a way that's easy for other people to consume. And what people are paying you for is that you're giving them a shortcut and you don't have to listen to all of the other things out there that are super confusing. So they're paying for the shortcuts. This is what people pay for when they pay for information education products. And there are different types of information products. So the traditional one is courses. However, the vast majority of courses are not recurring revenue. So, and this is also, in my opinion, why they have such a bad rap, because you pay once for the course. And honestly, it's like goodbye. Like no one cares about you after you pay. Okay, but now there are up and coming emerging models in the education info product space. So one of them is communities. So School, for example, is a really popular platform in the community space. And one really beautiful thing about a community, if you can build it the right way, is that it's recurring revenue. Like I said, School is one of the bigger players in the space, and they actually have over 20 million users on their platform. So the particular offer that I would launch if I had to make $1 million from zero is a School community focused on teaching the skill that you decided to learn when you locked in step 1. So let's say it was vibe coding or creativity or whatever it was. Whatever the School community you're going to build will be centered on just that one subset of AI and teaching people how to excel. So let's break down exactly what your offer consists of. So when I say community or School community, especially if you're not familiar with it already, which is probably many of you watching this video, what does that mean? What does your offer actually consist of? So you can think of it as kind of the course. So it has education, but it's continuous education, meaning you might release an update or new material every week or every month. Okay. Number 2 is wins, meaning people who join your community presumably joined in order to achieve a certain outcome. What you want to do is compile and collect all of those wins as case studies so that when somebody first joins your community, they're bombarded with stories of people who are actually succeeding. Let's say your School community is focused on building AI automations, then you want to collect lots and lots of wins who are building and making money with AI automations. And as you collect this over time, it becomes like a really strong moat around your community specifically, because anybody can come into your community and honestly just clone all of your courses. But it's very difficult to clone the people in your community and the wins and success that they're having. And by the way, people pay more for a community compared to, let's say, a software product because of the perceived value of people. There's just higher perceived value in something where you get to be surrounded by all of these other winners, all of these other successful people. The third thing that will be in your community is some kind of recurring event. This could be once a week, this could be multiple times a week, but that's a pretty standard component in any type of community. And number 4 is the community itself, like the forum itself, where people are free to ask questions and you can answer those questions. And also other people who are developing expertise, like your winners over here, are also going to contribute to answering the questions, which is why I said earlier in the video, I watched one entrepreneur do this exact playbook and grow from 0 to 50,000 per month within a matter of months. And you might wonder, oh, well, what are people charging for communities? So usually you'll start at something low, like let's say $50 per month. And over time, you raise the price as you put out more education, i.e. more courses. So you increase the price over time. And that's one of the mechanisms to reduce churn in this recurring revenue model. And like I said, the beauty of a school community over a course is that it's recurring. So like month 1, you get this amount of money. So you get a similar, hopefully a little bit more amount of money the next month, right? And so that's the beauty of a recurring revenue model compared to other ways you can monetize your brand. So remember, step 2 is talked about brand, and like the traditional way of monetizing is through sponsorships and collaborations. But in my opinion, like that's not optimal. Like a lot of people experiment with that initially because they're excited about it. You start building your brand, companies are reaching out to you. AI startups in particular, flush with cash, so they're throwing money at any AI influencer that's willing to take it. But in my opinion, it's hard to hit 1 million through that model compared to something like this. So let's recap the 3 steps. Number 1, you're going to lock in to the hottest market that everyone is throwing money at, which is AI. Spend the next 3 months learning everything you can about it, playing with all the AI tools in there. During that 3-month period, you're going to start building your brand by learning in public, simply sharing cool things you've tried, cool tools you're testing out, things you've learned in the process of locking in. Then you're going to design and launch your offer. I think a school community in the space of AI, so a school community teaching people how to master a specific AI skill, is a really solid offer, because again, you're leveraging that market timing, all of that hype within AI, and you're also leveraging school itself as a growing platform with over 20 million users. And I'll just close with the bonus step 4, which is actually the same as step 1. Lock in by saying no to everything else. Do not get distracted. I don't know what it is, but people have the tendency to listen to a podcast or see something on Instagram and then like completely change their strategy because they heard about this other path that could be better. The reality is there are many paths that can make your first $1 million. I know with 100% certainty that this works as I've seen people do it again and again and again. I took a similar path. I just didn't end up doing an information product. I built a SaaS product instead, which arguably is much harder, right? But this path, I know 100% confident. You don't need luck. You don't need a ton of capital investment. You don't need technical knowledge. You don't need business building knowledge. But the trap most people fall into, again, is they see some other shiny object in social media and then just immediately jump ship. Truly give yourself that full year to try this out. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, hit like, drop a comment below. Make sure you hit subscribe.